Hey guys, we're not all about fitness. I'm Paul Bono.
I'm Angelo Cisco, and today we're with Ian Berger at CrossFit Dynamix in Queens, New York. Ian, thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Paul and I have both been very fortunate that we've known Ian for a number of years, and we've known a lot about his journey. And today we're going to talk about an interesting part of your journey. We want to hear a little bit about your backstory leading up before fitness, but also to the length of time you spent with Rhinoco and how that's kind of elevated you in the fitness game and kind of transformed not only you as an athlete, but as a businessman as well.
Cool.
So start from the beginning. So you grew up playing soccer?
Yes. So I grew up in Oceanside, New York, which is in Long Island. Played soccer my whole life at the highest level, constantly traveling throughout New York to play for different clubs. Started getting recruited for college in my sophomore year of high school. You name it, I was getting recruited by. I started getting a little cocky, slacking off in school, all the good stuff. Partying. I actually chose my college based off of my best overnight visit.
Those are the important things.
Yep, it was University of Albany. It was Division I soccer school, and the best party I've ever experienced. I was like, I don't want that to end, so this is where I'm going. I've played overseas. One morning I kind of woke up and it was like, I am gonna, this is not for me. This lifestyle is not gonna make it.
How old were you when you kind of realized that?
Probably around 18, 19. I had a degree in, I don't even know what my degree was in. I don't even know.
A lot of focus on academics during this soccer career, guys.
Stay in school.
I remember taking like classes like the culture and hip hop of rap and like bowling, and like I was like, dude, I'm gonna end up like a useless human being, and just partying so much that I was like, I might be a borderline alcoholic at one point. So I was like, you know what? I started doing CrossFit. A friend of mine turned me on to it. Got into it and humbled. You know, my first workout kicked me in the ass, and from then on, I was like, I love this. Hit up my dad, who was having cholesterol problems, and he would always kind of lean on me for some help to get fit or just kind of ideas for health and wellness, and put him on like a paleo zone-ish diet and CrossFit main site prescription. And before he knew it, he was lost like 30 pounds and didn't need cholesterol medicine. So we both drank the Kool-Aid and we're ready to open an affiliate.
And what year was that?
That was 2010.
Awesome.
Yeah. Wait, 2010 or 2011? I don't know. Years are flying by. I think maybe 2010. Yeah, this will be my 6th year.
Yeah, I think it's 2010.
Yeah, 2010.
I think we both started right around the same time in that part of the business.
Well, I still remember the 2011 picture from Ian at regionals with the long flowing hair.
Oh my God.
The weighing 140 pounds at what, 5'10", 5'11". So.
Awesome.
And a maximum thruster of, I think, 185 at that time.
The Jesus of CrossFit.
Yes, for sure.
Jesus.
For sure.
All right, so now you open the affiliate, you're training as an athlete, and then a few years go by, your gym's growing, you're growing as an athlete, and then kind of how did you get involved with Rhinoco? How did that kind of all kind of transpire?
Ooh, just kind of lucky. My first affiliate was kind of more, the one that my family opened was more of kind of a hobby and club, which I think a lot of affiliate owners make the mistake of doing. They're like, well, I love CrossFit, and I want to be a games athlete, and I want a place to train, and I want a place to hang out with people. So that's kind of was the initial thought behind opening my first affiliate. One of the things that my mom made me do was apply to colleges if I wanted to own an affiliate or run a gym. I didn't want to go to school. Like, I was like, I'm done. I'm a gym owner. I'm never going to need to really use a college education. She forced me to apply to NYU, and fortunately, I got in. I didn't expect to get in. I got in, it was like a 200 people got in out of like 5,000 applicants. I'm like, how the hell did I get in? But I did. I commuted and I ran my gym and trained full time as an athlete, and just kind of taught me a lot of responsibility. 2013, I just graduated.
Would you get your degree in?
Sports management.
Okay.
Yep. Sports management and a focus on sports media and marketing. Just graduated. Training for regionals. I was actually under Jay Layden. He was programming for me. And my first workout was Jackie. It was kind of like one of these opens that I had to overcome adversity through being sick. Was in like 45th place, barely squeaked in, and after that I was on a mission just to crush souls. So first workout is Jackie. I'm in the bottom heat.
It's 2013, right? Yeah, 2013. Yeah.
I come out flying, row like a 3-minute 1K, do my thrusters unbroken, hop up to the pull-up bar, do about, I want to say like 17 to 18 pull-ups unbroken. My judge goes like 12. And I'm like, okay, you know that there's going to, whatever, just keep going.
Yeah.
And people aren't even close at this point. Hop up again. I did like 10 to 12. She says 20. And I'm like, okay, just keep on going, keep chipping away.
Yeah.
What must have been about like 50 pull-ups, and then the rest of the heat starts passing me. Not knowing why I'm getting no reps, I start getting a little frustrated. Finally, I finish. And I kind of realized that might have just cost me a trip to the games or a top 5 finish, but didn't get too upset. So I walk into the back of the warm-up area, and Nathan Forrester, who's one of the owners of Rhino Co., comes up to me. He's like, you got screwed out there, right? And I'm like, yeah, happens, got to move on, got to do my best on the next couple events. And he's like, really? Like, that's how you're handling it? And I'm like, yeah, what am I going to do? Like, she's a human. Like, I can't get frustrated.
It's over now.
Yeah, like, what am I going to do? And he's like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 21. And he was like, shit, that's impressive. So long story short, he sponsored me that weekend by Nutriforce. Was like, we kept in contact. He's like, I want you to work for Reebok CrossFit Fifth Ave and work for Rhino Co. And I was like, why am I going to work for you? I own a gym. Why? It's taking a step backwards to be a coach again.
At that time, that's what you kind of thought it was.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I promise. You need to just get your foot in the door, and you'll have more opportunities. And just looking at him, he was driving a Dodge, like a sick Dodge Viper. Had all these toys, like had these big gyms across the U.S. And I was like, okay. So he kind of served as the next couple of months. He kept to his word, and then just kept on giving me more projects and more projects and more projects, and mentoring me along the way. And yeah, it's kind of how it all started.
Keeping that level head, especially when you are in a little rush and a little anxious and you hit a car or don't get reps on your pull-ups. Keep a level head out there, kids. You never know who's watching.
Angelo hit a car this morning.
Those of you that don't know, today I might have did a U-turn and let somebody know that I really liked them in Queens. Not them personally, but their other Hyundai. It was a Hyundai on Hyundai crime. So you you get through regionals, and now you're like, man, I got to find out what this Nate is really about. I'm going to give this a shot. And so, I mean, unlike many people, he kept to his word.
He did.
Which is awesome.
Yep.
Good ups to Nate for doing that. And
Yep.
then you start working at Fifth Ave, and then he kind of starts mentoring you, and you start seeing more of maybe the business side of CrossFit versus just having that warehouse or kind of like that training dungeon that I think we all kind of thought it was at one time.
Yeah.
And now this guy's his company has this national sort of brand and following. Mm-hmm. And you start learning more of that side, which is also completely congruent probably with what you went to school with.
Yes.
For.
Yep.
All right, so now take me through that. So now you start working a little bit more with Nate. You guys have a little more trust and bond. You're developing more projects. What are some things that you've done with Rhino Co. that, just aren't typical and a little bit bigger than you probably thought you were capable of?
I think the biggest is just the New York Rhinos. I mean, initially, before that, though, he would take me into these meetings with like monsters like Samsung. I've hung out with like Steve Aoki, and I kind of at first was like, why is this I'm 22, 23 years old, sitting in on meetings with these people that are superstars, or like with companies that are billion-dollar companies, and I'm like, it was pretty cool. But yeah, I think the hardest and most eye-opening experience was with the Rhinos.
So the Rhinos is just for anybody that might not know, is the New York Grid team.
Yep.
And what's your role with them?
I was.
You've had a few, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
first in 2014, I was the GM head coach.
Okay.
I was head coach.
What's that like, being the GM and the head coach? How are those different? Those roles so different.
Oh, it was a clusterfuck for no other reason. There's no other. Just everything. I did everything the first year, and I really learned a lot because it was a trial by fire. I made incredible mistakes. I also did some things right, but I learned a lot. So, yeah.
What's one thing out of all, like, you could say was one of the biggest eye openers or learning experiences for you?
I think the biggest eye-opening experience is just how you deal with people, you know, and also not getting flustered. Like, same back to that initial, like, there was times where the work would pile on to the point where I was like, this is never gonna get done, and I'm not capable of this. I'm like, but taking a step back and be like, okay, it's gonna get done, it's gonna happen. I just need to take it piece by piece. So I think that was probably the biggest piece, and also just people dealing with 24 athletes. What it is was a headache, you know.
And high caliber athletes too.
Oh,
in the
elite
sport?
athletes.
Yeah.
You know, you had Matt Frazier, you had Annie Thorstadter, Elijah Muhammad, Danny Siddell, rock stars.
Yeah.
And these are just regular people, you know. If anything, it was like being a parent and being the youngest person in the room, trying to be a parent to all these athletes was comical. It was like, I'm never made, like, telling a grown adult, hey, we can't have ice cream tonight because you've already had it 6 times this week. It's funny, you know. It's like, it's funny. Like, you can't make that stuff up. I mean, I've never made so many ice cream trips than during grid season.
And now you're still with the Rhinos. You guys
Yep.
had your pro day just recently.
Yep,
Yesterday.
yesterday.
And what's your role now with them for this season?
I'm the GM solely.
So you're just the GM. Okay, so you don't have, like, what's the GM's role exactly like for grid? Tell me a little bit about what that goes into.
Similar to other sports,
Okay.
my responsibility is just getting all the contracts done, making sure athletes sign, dealing with the compensation details, logistics of getting people where they need to be for matches, scheduling, jerseys, sponsorships, fun stuff.
So you have a lot to deal with, like, on the financial side of the team, like
Yep.
making sure that you're aligned with that. Where do you see grid going now? So we're coming on the 3rd season. I was with you in Dallas for that one,
Yep.
for the one combine that one year. I think there's a lot of anticipation about, like, where this is really going because it's still in its infancy.
Yep.
Where is somebody that's on the inside of this, and obviously that has such a good insight about what's going on in the fitness industry, where do you see grid kind of going in the next years to come? Or where's your hope and where is it you think it is?
I hope it grows and continues. I think it's kind of good that it took a little bit of a step back because we started so big.
Yeah, you had that first match in the Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I nearly shit my pants. I don't like being up in the public. Like, I don't like being on camera. I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it because I kind of had it. You know, like, my first year, it was like, all right, you're gonna have to be in a suit in Madison Square Garden. I think I sweat through the suit. I was so uncomfortable. You know, like, I had, like, sweat marks down to here, and I was like, I drank pre-workout just to purely get me through that day because I was so stressed out.
So back to where it's going now. So it took a step back. So now it kind of regrouped and maybe it's starting again a little smaller, more grassroots.
Yeah, I think this is a make or break year, and we're gonna see what happens. Yeah, we'll see. I think this year is going to kind of dictate the future. I think everybody's kind of at the point where it's like we just need to figure out what exactly, what type of property are we? Are we a sport? Are we an entertainment property like a American Ninja Warrior? Are we a human interest piece? Like, are we telling stories about people and then highlighting their athletic like capabilities? I think we're still trying to figure that out. And this year, contingent on like a few deals, whether it's like TV deal or media rights and sponsorship, will kind of dictate the future.
Sure. Now, I'm going to ask you a tough question, and I think it's on a lot of people's minds, is a lot of people might look at grid in this kind of like sort of negative connotation or just completely like opposite of just general CrossFit. Where do you see the goodness in grid, especially from the athlete side and then also from a public perspective side? Because there's two sides of this, obviously. One thing is people are paid to play a sport now, which is really good. So go a little bit in depth in that. Like, what's it like for the players? Like, what's that advantage or a good part about this for the players? And then also for the spectators.
Well, I think for players, the first thing is they're actually getting paid. You know, so you're traveling, which is your expenses are being paid for, your meals are being covered, and you're actually making a little bit of money, right? And it's also providing an opportunity for some people that aren't per se CrossFitters, and you're allowing them to be specialists. It is unique to CrossFit. I mean, some of the movements are similar, and there are some parallels between the two sports, but I think grid stars are not your best CrossFitters. Having work capacity doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be good at grid. It's also just provided an opportunity for a platform for some of the elite athletes to train together. It's also kind of pushed the limits of what people are capable of, like
Potential.
Yeah, so you see some of these people doing some crazy things, like hang cleans at like 245 unbroken for like sets of 10 to 20. Like just crazy. You see crazy stuff like Irving Hernandez, like his double unders, his like the speed and human potential is crazy. And I think that's cool for spectators to see because it's an hour long. It's easy to follow, and they could be invested in a team and kind of a team that represents maybe their region versus just a person, you know. And sometimes we've all been to CrossFit events. Not saying I live, like, sleep and eat CrossFit, but sometimes going to CrossFit events over the course of a day or a weekend is draining and sometimes really boring unless you're participating. I don't mean boring.
They're long. They're very long. I hear what you're saying. They're very long days.
It's a long day.
Yep.
8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the person that you're watching is on for 20 minutes of that 8 hours.
And like, again, like sometimes you're out in the heat for 12 hours. Well, not 12 hours, but 8 hours just sweating, watching.
I'm a coach and I take naps.
Yes, exactly.
And eat donuts.
I do. I take a nap. I mean,
I think it's more stressful to be a coach.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, those days beat you up.
For sure.
And sometimes you have these events that are like 5K run. Like,
Right. You're just standing there.
it's cool. Like, cool.
What am I watching now?
Yeah.
So the fact that it's got a little more entertainment value for the
Yeah.
people, more action packed and things like that. I think also too, like you said, like having a whole team that you're cheering for. I think just because of just sports in general, people get into that. When does the season start this year?
It starts in August.
August. So good. And how long does it go for?
It's only 3 weeks this year.
3 weeks. And how many matches in 3 weeks?
There's going to be a total of 5 with postseason.
So it's a lot happening in a short amount of time.
3 regular season matches, 2 postseason matches.
That's awesome. How many, and like, so you're from New York and you're going to be in New York. What's the travel schedule going to be like for that?
I think we're all going to be, so all the teams are going to fly to one location, hang out for like the 3 weeks, play each other, so there's no like traveling all over the U.S., and then just go back to regular life.
So almost like a tournament style.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that is pretty cool. I actually like that a lot more.
Just kind of having that grind and just being all together.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you like that for you too?
Oh yeah. I think the hardest part about that would just be being stuck in one place for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But besides that, I like it so much more instead of traveling back and forth constantly.
Sure.
It'll be nice just to get it done in one shot.
All right, we're going to do a 3-minute rapid fire round.
Let's do it.
Favorite, I know you've been reading this year.
Yep.
You've been picking up on your reading because we talked about it.
I have.
Best book you've read this year? Go.
The Ways of the Superior Man.
Good. Paul, go.
Favorite ice cream?
Oh, God. Tonight Dough.
Tonight, though?
Ben & Jerry's.
Oh, is that Jimmy Fallon one?
Yeah,
That's the
that
Jimmy
was
Fallon.
the potato chips, right?
No.
That used to be
That's
potato chips. Now it's peanut butter.
Peanut butter cookie dough.
Step it up.
Brownies.
Fucking amateur hour.
Yeah, and you like Ben & Jerry's too. You're a Talenti guy, aren't you?
I've changed. What? No. What? Go on.
Real boring one. Sorry, little stale moment. Nikes or Metcons? I mean, Metcons or Nanos?
Metcons.
Favorite accessory to work out in? Your go-to.
Could it be like a piece of clothing?
Yep.
I like virus compression pants.
Boom.
Plug for Virus.
There we go.
Ian's looking for a sponsorship. Hello.
You send him the
Give him
contract.
the discount code.
We'll send you the email. Yeah.
Yeah, best part about the Albany party, as long as there wasn't anything illegal. I mean, even if it was, no viewers are snitches, because you get stitches.
Oh boy. This might really hurt my
Social media presence.
especially with the girls. But okay. One night. So preface this: my roommate. I played on the soccer team. My roommate was from England. We both went out. We were heavily under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah.
Went to a party. He bumped into a girl. The girl was like, "What the hell?" He said, "So sorry." She's like, "Oh my God, these kids are from England." Assumed I was from England too. I am not.
Tell me, did you do the accent?
Woke up the next morning, no accent. She was really pissed.
Oh, God.
Terrible human being.
You know what, though? There isn't a 19-year-old, 18-year-old, whatever age you were, sub 20. You would have probably played the pot. You would have done everything it took to get in there. And we all were there. So that's awesome.
It was good.
That's good. E, thanks for your time.
Of course.
Where could our viewers follow you and the Rhinos?
For my personal stuff, at @IanBerger_15. Rhinos at New York Rhinos. And yeah.
That's awesome. Thanks for your time this morning.
And we're Not All About Fitness. www.notallaboutfitness.com, @NotAllAboutFitness on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching.
And please subscribe to us on iTunes. Click on all the links anywhere they're popping up. Paul knows where they're going. Thank you. Please subscribe to all our stuff.